bansa, mag-text o tumawag sa PhilRice Tech Center sa numerong 0920-911-1398.
Ayan. So with that, it's actually good to understand that there's more than one actual kind of rice. Brown rice is actually, in fact, much healthier, or so I've heard, than white rice. And sometimes there are some restaurants or some eateries that actually give you the option to change not just from white rice, but from brown to brown rice or even red rice. These other options are actually good to know if you're like me and hoping to have a little bit more healthy flavor in your life, or who needs a bit of a weight loss just like me. Now, that actually leads us into the topic today. We want to be talking about the way our eateries and restaurants around UPLB actually get their raw materials. Not just rice, but like meat, vegetables, and so on and so forth. We're also going to be talking about the kinds of implications, the change in prices, and the change in prices of goods, the prices of how much it costs to transport these goods, actually has an impact on the community at large. Now, but before that, we're also going to be talking about one thing that recently came up regarding student spaces around UP Los Baños. So, upon the return to campus after facing the pandemic, UPLB students are now struggling with the transition from online classes to face-to-face. However, one key problem voiced by the students was the lack of student spaces in the current setup. Other than their own dormitories, there are simply not enough spaces for students to stay and work or generally use for their own purposes within campus. While the administration has opened up once more buildings such as the SU or Student Union building, and as well as the Baker Hall, as initiatives for the students, interviews with various students have expressed that these are simply not enough. Former UPLB University Freshman Council, UFC Deputy Secretary General Education and Research Committee Head Butch Malisay had this to say on the matter. And I quote, "Oo, malaking tulong ito, or rather the opening of learning hubs para makadagdag sa student spaces. Pero hindi natin makakilala na kulang pa din ang student spaces upang magkaroon tayo ng maigi at maayos na pag-aaral sa setup na ito." Students through the USC or University Student Council continue to demand for the retrofitting of facilities and the opening of more classrooms and learning hubs in campus. This report was originally published in the UPLB Perspective campus newsletter. So, with that, I want to redirect our topic again to the commercialization of UPLB. And actually, on a personal note, I don't know how many of you actually see, but there's been so many new establishments that have been rapidly showing up. Around F.O. Santos, around Agapita. In fact, I can already name at least 2 food parks that have recently gotten more and more popular as the semester has passed, ever since students have been returning back to campus after the pandemic. In fact, I can almost name more than 5 cafes that have been opening up, or student spaces that could possibly even be attributed to the recent reopening of schools for face-to-face. Now with that, I personally conducted an interview a few weeks ago with an expert from SEM. Her name was Professor Maria Noriza Q. Herrera from the College of Economics and Management. She also works in the Department of Agribusiness, so I thought that it was a wonderful person to be able to interview regarding this topic. Their insight might be able to help us understand better the chain of supply on where these restaurants get their raw materials and the potential implication of the increasing prices of goods.
For the recording, I am Ethan Pam, a student from College of Development Communication, and these questions and this interview will be in partial fulfillment of my requirements for DevCom 30, or Fundamentals of Community Broadcasting. This topic will be regarding local businesses around UPLB and their suppliers and their dynamic with students in the university. Interviewee po is...
Okay, my full name is Maria Noriza Q. Herrera, but you can call me Aisa. I'm an assistant professor here at the Department of Agribusiness Management and Entrepreneurship, College of Economics and Management, UP Los Baños.
So, to start, regarding local businesses, as an expert, I'd like to ask for your opinion. Based on your knowledge, where do local businesses around UPLB get their raw materials such as meat, vegetables, or whatever they need for their cooking?
Okay, for the meats, fruits, vegetables, and other perishables, from what I know, our karinderya owners or small restaurant owners here in Los Baños source out their perishables from the wet market. From the wet market in Okay, there in I don't know if you're familiar with that or have you been to the wet market? Yes or no?
No, I have not yet been there.
Yeah, it's like 3 kilometers away from the campus, and that's where they usually source out the raw mats. Or they also go to for example, for other perishables, for frozen goods from local grocery shops and as well as supermarkets like Robinson's, South Supermarket, Pure Gold, there. But for most of the fresh goods from the local wet market or the nearby like San Pablo, Laguna, and Calamba.
That's interesting. So, depending on the budget siguro, no? That would be based on the wet market, or if they have more budget, they buy from the supermarket, or if it's more specialized ingredients, would you say so?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So for the next question, some of these particular business, do you think that they have specific suppliers, maybe in this wet market or not, where they
Of
have direct
course, I
contact?
think they have, of course, for vendors whom they trust or had developed relationship with for the past years. So I can just speak for one because I know an owner, and then I ask where do they source out usually their meat, fish, vegetables, and he said that they already have a trusted partner, vendor, an informal one from the wet market, or at times for the vegetables they have someone who deliver for them or to their business.
So other than that, do you think that multiple vendors have the same supplier, would you say? In occasion, for example, one pork supplier would be supplying multiple stores around the UPLB
It's
area?
possible or it's probable. Yeah.
Or rather, how often do you think vendors or restaurants would not really resort or opt in for this sort of thing where having a supplier is likely compared to buying it themselves from the wet market?
As I mentioned earlier, they have already projections of how much supplies do they need. So I think related to your question, it's just seldom.
Seldom?
Yeah, seldom. It seldom happens.
Ayan, so with that, Ma'am Maria, as she said was her international name when I interviewed her a few weeks ago, was talking about the way local businesses would usually get their supplies. So, if I recall right, along with the interview I said earlier, it's usually in 2 ways. Usually it's they themselves who will go to the palengke and be able to purchase the goods themselves, or usually they might have a deal with some of these suppliers. One thing that my interviewee noted to be especially important is that every restaurant always has knowledge of the exact amount of supplies that they're going to be using throughout the week. So for example, 1 week they should know how many kilos of meat they're going to use, how many kilos of rice they're going to use, and so on and so forth, so that for the most part they shouldn't really be having any leftovers or things frozen over for the next week. Now, that ties in with the deals that they usually have with some of these suppliers. For example, like every week they're going to be having certain amounts of pork, for example, delivered to them. Or if not delivered, then they themselves are going to have their own cars or pickup trucks, or sometimes they'll even rent a jeep in order to go to these places of suppliers to be able to pick them up themselves. This is important in the sense that this is usually where they get their raw materials. It's not so different from most in the sense that usually with smaller businesses like these compared to larger ones that, for example, a fast food chain such as McDonald's, where they have it directly delivered to them, usually in these small businesses, it's they themselves who take the initiative since they can't really hire trucks, delivery trucks, or that will give them that will deliver them tons of materials and such. So, with that, we'll have our second plug of the day, which talks about our nationality.
Ako ay Pilipino, hindi na pinapahalagahan.
Ako po ay Pilipino na walang pinapukasan. Ako ay Pilipinong minamaliit.
Ako ay Pilipinong nagpapakasakit.
Ako ay Pilipinong walang kinalulugaran. Ako ay Pilipinong kinatatakutan.
Ako ay Pilipinong walang karapatan. Ako ay Pilipino may malasakit. Ako ay Pilipinong may pakinabang.
Ako ay Pilipinong nagbigay ng karunungan sa mga kabataan.
Ako po ay Pilipino, pag-asa ng bayan. Ako ay Pilipinong minamahal at nagmamahal.
Ako ay Pilipino nagsikap para sa bayan.
Ako ay Pilipinong may pinaglalaban. Ako ay Pilipinong may kayang patunayan.
Ako ay Pilipino.
Stop social inequality. Be an agent of change. Hashtag, I am Filipino because I am.
Ayan, so with that, a lot of people, when they hear the word Filipino, what do you associate it with? A lot of people, our country is one that's rich with agriculture. When in fact, ironically speaking, it's one of the most difficult sectors to be a part of. It's one of the more poor ones in the sense that a lot of farmers don't actually have the proper funding, they don't have the proper guidance to be able to farm efficiently. In fact, even if they do, a lot of the money that they gain from this, a lot of the times it doesn't even go to them. So our patriotism as Filipinos, honestly, it should extend to our farmers and people in the agricultural sector, because that's where the best parts of, well, our economy lies, and the best parts of our culture as well. And with that, segue from that topic is that because of our agricultural sector having difficulties at the moment, a lot of the prices of some of our goods have been increasing as well. And here in the next part of the interview, Ma'am Maria and I discuss the potential implications of all these prices and how it affects the community of UPLB moving forward.
How do you foresee the LB community's dynamic with local businesses in the future? Is there anything that's really going to change, or
That's
will it
also
still
my
go?
question. Actually, it's more of commercial businesses.
That's what I wanted to ask about.
Commercial businesses are growing in numbers, and that can outperform perhaps the small ones.
Mm-mm.
So the longevity or survivability of the small restaurant owners, it's one of the concerns, I think, because there's a growing number of commercial businesses.
Yes, that's right.
Mm.
And what I have observed in my own food trip is that a lot of these smaller businesses have had to adapt, where before they would have more intimate relationships with their regulars and customers. Now they've had to increase their prices and cater
Of course, they have to.
higher, and very different treatment compared to before.
The average cost per meal before, during my time, which is 30 pesos,
Wow.
30 to 50 pesos, you can survive. Right now, it's like 100 pesos.
Mm-mm.
If it is 60 pesos right now, it's really cheap.
As a follow-up to that, how do you think the environment will be in the future with how much more, well, yes, you've answered this earlier, but how do you think the environment will change for the students, the faculty, and the locals of the area will change with how commercialized it's been lately, or the growing commercialization of the area?
It's going to be so. It will increase in rate or speed in the next 5 to 10 years, I guess. And we can see that in terms of housing facilities, dormitories, what else, food establishments, and other commercial businesses. So that's the way that's the trend I see in Los Baños. It's going to get busier and more expensive.
Ako nga, I gained 10 kilos ever since face-to-face classes started again. I was like,
10 kilos?
Yeah. I've eaten so
Nalaba ka
much.
pa niyan? Grabe ha. So, gano'n katingting dati?
I'm a very dedicated foodie. It's a question of what haven't I eaten at yet. Halos na-try ko na my friends, they asked me na, oh sige Ethan, where do you want to eat? Oh sige, ano budget nyo? Anong gusto nyo? Anong budget nyo? How far do you want to walk? I already have all the questions to that. Okay, from there, let's talk about yung mga prices. You mentioned earlier that 60 is considered cheap and 100 is already the standard.
Yes,
right?
average.
My observation is that 100 pesos is a cut-off mostly for students. When they see that it's more than 100, it's like, they start to hesitate on buying it, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure because there are a lot of students who stay at Starbucks. Maybe that's the only thing they have for the day. I don't know.
I think it has something to do with the increasing number of students who are more on the wealthy or affluent side, but that's a different discussion though. Would you say that the prices are still appropriate for the main market in UPLB or around LB?
Will I say if prices are
still appropriate?
Considering the cost of ingredients, like I do the buying of supplies in our house because my parents are already senior citizens. I think it's just apt or right considering the price of gasoline, thereby affecting all the other prices. And even for the agricultural sector, the inputs, fertilizers, for the crops, and then feeds for the animals or livestock, I think it's just appropriate. But the challenge is that the purchasing power of peso. Imagine.
That's true.
When I was young, there used to be a paper 5 peso bill. Ngayon, 5 pesos, parang it doesn't have much value. Even 20 pesos, sa naabot ng 20 pesos mo. It's barya na.
Oh, there's one thing I
Later
read.
on, 50 or 100 and then 500, 1,000. So, it's just really saddening. And sticking to your question, I think the pricing right now, ganun lang, tama lang. Oo. I think it's but fair. Marami nga nagre-reklamo pa na.
With that, we have our last question here. With the way the prices are, do you think with the rapid commercialization, the increase of prices, and the low purchasing power of the peso, do you think this will really stay this way in the future? Or what changes in the future might happen?
It's gonna get more exciting. Harder than better. And it also has something to do with the policies because there's that minimum wage for people. Unless the government increases that, then it will just cope with the increase of prices for different commodities.
So with that, I think that's all of the questions I have today.
Alright, so with that, the issue of this one, or what we have on discussion here today, usually it basically has two things. First of all, it's the increased and rapid commercialization of the UPLB area, around campus to be specific. And the second is the decreased purchasing power of the peso. Now let's start with the second, yung decreased purchasing power of the peso. A lot of factors has that on its own, mainly inflation, increased prices of goods due to things like the increased price in petrol and gas to make things more expensive to transport, along with, of course, our own economic status as a country and our own reputation. Now, with that, it ties in with the rapid commercialization of the UPLB campus. It was, in a way, personally speaking, this is my opinion here, is that it was bound to happen regardless, considering that UP is a university and there's going to be more and more students, the population is only going to increase, so on and so forth. So of course, businesses around the area are going to be reacting to that increase in population. What are they going to do? They're going to be able to open up more ways to cater to them. They're going to open up more cafes, more restaurants. And it's only natural that they're going to have these sorts of prices in order to react to the how much it costs to be able to produce these goods to begin with. And moving forward, I guess it's slowly going to be a shift from the prices that we used to in the past, standards of what I hear from older students were 30 pesos, 60 pesos a meal, to what's currently a more standard price of 80 to 110 of what a standard meal is usually looking like. Add that to the fact that there's a lot more fast food and major chains that are opening up in the area, for example, yung Jollibee, yung McDo, and these already have been here, but other chains that are still local to Laguna but not really international have also been opening as well. So these things will incite competition around the area, which of course encourages people to open up even more stores to try and capture the market of the students, but not just students, but also professors and young professionals around the area, in order to try and capitalize and cater to this growing population in the UPLB campus and further. So with that, I'll end our discussion for today. Hopefully we'll have another episode, but I'm not so sure about that. Once again, I am Ethan Pam, who has been your host, and our program has been Budget Food and Further Around UPLB. Maybe next time, if we have another opportunity, we'll be talking in more specifics. What are the best budget options for restaurants around the UPLB area? I guess with that, that's all the time I have. Thank you so much for listening in, and I'll catch everyone next time. Next song we're going to be having, and the last for the morning, is Stream by Last Dinosaurs, my favorite band, and a band that's very near and dear to my heart. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Really need to think about it. If only this was half true. Radyo DZLB, tinig ng kaularan, kabalikat kasama, karamay kaibigan. Radyo DZLB, tinig ng kaunlaran, isusulong ang bagong kaalaman.
Harapin ang bagong umaga, salubungin ang may pag-asa, makinig, matuto, mag-isaya.
Sa Radyo DZLB.
Radyo DZLB 1116 kHz, ang tinig ng kaunlaran.
Radyo DZLB, tinig ng kaularan, kabalikat kasama, karamay kaibigan. Radyo DZLB, tinig ng kaularan, isusulong ang bagong kaalaman.
Harapin ang bagong umaga, salubungin ang may pag-asa, makinig, matuto, mag-isaya.
Sa Radyo DZLB.
Radyo DZLB 1116 kHz, ang tinig ng kaunlaran.
Magandang araw, Los Baños. Ako ang inyong nag-iisang host para sa discussion program na Kalye LB. I am Nicole Brosas. And para sa pasimula ng ating program, tayo ay magpi-play ng isang sikat na kanta mula sa isang sikat na OPM band. Ito.
Liwanag ng buwan, habang ako'y nakatingin sa kawalan, hindi mo pansin mga taong nalampasan ng apat na kulong na aking ang sinasakyan. Sa inipong usok kay bitin na nakaipit sa gitna at pangpituin. Tuloy-tuloy sa pagtakbo, lang hihinto sa dulo. Kung makikita mo naman, lahat sila ay nagkakaisa. Tumatalo sa may sigaw, umihiyaw ang iba sa kanila. Hindi mo na mapipigilan ang saya, damdamin mo ay umaapaw. Sulitin mo buong gabi bago pa sumapit ang araw. Mga tao sa daan, sila'y sabay-sabay sa paggawa ng paraan upang lapitan ng lasing na unti-unti umiikot ang paningin. Tuloy-tuloy sa pagtakbo, lang hihinto sa dulo. Kung makikita mo naman, lahat sila ay
Okay, that was Ilaw sa Daan by Four of Spades. Time check, it's 11:21 a.m. And for our next segment, tayo ay magbabalita. Para naman sa ating Kalye News, matapos ang pangmalawakang tigil pasada at protesta ng jeepney drivers noong November 20 hanggang 22, tuloy pa rin ng Department of Transportation or DOTR at Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB sa pagtulak ng December 31 na deadline ng franchise consolidation ng mga pampasaherong jeep sa ilalim ng PUV Modernization Program na kung saan ang bibigyan at hahawakan o hahawak ng prangkisa ay ang mga kooperatiba. Kaya't isa sa panawagan ng mga transport group ay dapat magkaroon din ang mga tsuper at operator ng pag-aari sa prangkisa. Kaugnay nito, muling nagpaplano ang mga progresibong transport group sa mas malawak pang tigil pasada at kilos protesta ngayong Disyembre bago ang itinakdang deadline para sa prangkisa. Bilang karagdagan, kahapon lamang, ang grupo naman ng pagkakaisa ng mga samahan ng tsuper at operator o piston ay nauna na ring nag-anunsyo sa kanilang press briefing kahapon patungkol sa isasagawang transport strike sa nalalapit na December 14 at 15. Ang balitang ito ay unang inilathala sa CNN Philippines. Muli, ito ay para sa ating Kalye News. Ayun, para naman sa ating short break.
Tayo nang umawit ng tungkol sa pagkaing tama sa abot kayang halaga.
Ang itlog! Bilog-bilog itlog, sa sustansya'y matunog, hari sa protina, katumbas ay baka, kay lakas ng bisig, kay tangkad ng tindig, sadyang pampalusog, paboritong itlog.
Ang dalawang itlog ay katumbas ng isang hiwa ng karning baka sa dulot na protina. Ito'y pagkaing tama sa abot kayang halaga.
Ang itlog! Yay!
Ito'y hatid sa inyo ng kapisanan ng mga broadcaster sa Pilipinas at ng Nutrition Center of the Philippines.
Mga ilaw sa daan, nakikisabay sa liwanag ng buwan.
Para sa ating next segment, ito ay ang LB Food Trip na kung saan ay tayo ay nag-feature ng mga pagkain around LB or Los Baños. At para sa episode na ito, tayo ay nag-interview ng isang vendor sa may junction tapos sa interview na ito ay marami tayong nakuhang impormasyon patungkol dun sa itinitinda ni Kuya Ito na ang para sa LB Food Trip. Ito na ang part 1 ng ating interview.
Ayun, Kuya, pwede po ba kayong magpakilala? Pangalan niyo po at saka yung kung ilang taon na po kayo, tapos ano po yung mga tinitinda niyo po?
Danny Mateo po, 38 years old. Chicken Joy Vendors.
Ayun po. So, para po sa unang katanungan po, kumusta po yung negosyo nyo ngayon na ito pong Chicken Joy po?
Ayos naman. Medyo mahina, medyo malakas.
Ano po yung kadalasan po na nagiging problema po sa negosyo po ngayon?
Pag malakas ang ulan,
Ilang taon na po kayo nagtitinda po ng Chicken Joy po?
13 years na po. 20.
Kuya, dalawa nga po yun.
Una na, para matilis. Ano pa?
Dalawa po.
Papa, suka po.
Tapos, magkano po yung Chicken Joy po?
20 po, isa. Kahit anong part.
Ano po yung ingredients po na mga ginagamit nyo po para sa Chicken Joy at saka sa sauce po?
Bawang, asin, aji. Tapos suka lang gamit ko sa sausawan.
Tapos, magkano po yung naging puhunan nyo po para sa Chicken Joy?
Maabot siya ng 5,000. Bawat tinda. 5,000 bawat tinda.
Like, bawat araw po?
Opo, bawat araw.
Bago ba yan?
20 na ba yan?
Ha? 20 lang po. 20 na? Ano ito 50? Bago ba? Ito bago ha?
Kuya, paano po yung naging simula nyo po bilang Chicken Joy vendor po?
Nag-umpisa ako sa maliit na puhunan. Hanggang, yun, lumago. Nag-umpisa ako sa utang. Yun lang.
Lima to, lima?
Kuya, ano po yung dahilan nyo po sa pagbebenta nyo po ng Chicken Joy?
Siyempre, para sa pamilya. Wala pa yan?
Lima kayo? Tatlo, pawan.
Gagalin pa isa. Lima yan?
Ayun para sa ating part 1 na interview. Doon natin na tunghayan yung kung paano nagsimula si Kuya sa pagbebenta ng Chicken Joy. Ayun, si Kuya Danny. Nabanggit niya rin kung ano yung parang pinagmulan po or dahilan niya sa pagbebenta, at yung dahilan niya na yun ay yung kanyang pamilya. So, bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating programa na LB Food Trip, bago tayo magpatuloy sa part 2 ng interview, ay tayo muna ay magpapalabas ng isang maikling plug para sa ating short break.
Kahilig kasi sa mapuputi.
Ano na naman ba yung sinasabi mo na may hilig sa mapuputi?
Kasi naman, Pedro, yung mga mamimili, puro puting kanin lang ang gusto. Kung alam lang nila, higit namang mas masustansya ang brown rice.
Brown rice?
Oo, Pedro. Ang brown rice ay mayaman sa protina, fiber, vitamins, minerals at antioxidants. Ito ay mabisang pananggalang sa iba't ibang karamdaman tulad ng sakit sa puso, cancer at diabetes. Hindi lang yan, mainam din ito sa mga nagpapapayat. Madali kasing makabusog ang brown rice, kaya maiiwasan ang sobrang pagkain.
Wow! Gusto ko na ng brown rice. Pero Petra, saan ba ako makakabili ng brown rice?
Para sa karagdagang impormasyon at sa listahan ng mga nagbebenta ng brown rice sa bansa, mag-text o tumawag sa PhilRice Tech Center sa numerong 0920-911-1398.
Ayun ang ating vlog about sa brown rice na isa sa itinuturing na healthy na bigas So, time check, it's 11:32 a.m. and ito na para sa ating part 2 na marami pa tayong malalaman sa interview na to patungkol dun sa negosyong Chicken Joy ni Kuya Danny.
So, nabanggit niyo po na yung dahilan niyo po ay para po ito sa pamilya niyo, tama po. Paano po nakakatulong or gaano po kalaki yung naitutulong po nitong pagnenegosyo niyo po sa pamilya niyo po or sa pamumuhay niyo po?
Malaking bagay ito. Kasi hawak ko dito ang hawak kong araw ko, hawak ko yung oras ko.
Mga anong oras po kayo nagtitinda po at saka saan po yung mga nagiging pwesto nyo po sa pagtitinda po nitong Chicken Joy?
Mag-start ako ng 11. Tapos, ano yung tanong? Kalimutan ko.
Ayun po, saan po kayo madalas po pumupwesto tapos mga anong oras po kayo nagsisimula po?
Nagsisimula ako 11, tapos dito lang talaga ako nakapwesto sa dito sa crossing.
Dito lang po.
Ilan po?
Suka po. Anong oras po kayo natatapos po sa pagtitinda?
Mga 7 or 8. 7 or 8 ng gabi.
Tapos, gano'n na naman po ulit, 11 a.m. po ulit ang start niyo po.
11 ng tanghali. Tapos, kinabukasan, 11 ulit ng tanghali.
Tapos,
hanggang 7 or 8 ng gabi.
Tapos, yung mga ingredient po or yung mga kailangan nyo pong dalhin dito sa pagtitinda po ay mga anong oras nyo po siya hinahanda po?
9. Mga 9 ng umaga. Nag-aanda na ako. Kasi babiyahe pa ako.
Saan po kayo nanggagaling, kuya?
Kalamba pa.
Kapag umuwi po kayo ay sinasama nyo po itong buong stall nyo po?
Hindi. Iniiwan ko lang dito. May iniiwanan ako dito. Manok lang dinadala ko dito at saka yung mga paninitla.
Bali yung stall nyo po at saka yung gasol, ganun. Iniiwan nyo lang po. Ayun. Ano na lang po, isa na lang po na question po. Ano po yung maipapayo nyo po sa mga tao po na gusto rin pong pumasok sa ganitong negosyo po o hanap buhay?
Okay. Una, kailangan talaga may puhulan ka eh. Pangalawa, kailangan mo sipag at tiyaga.
Salamat po, kuya.
Mga ilaw sa daan, nakikisabay sa liwanag ng buwan.
So, ayun na no, na tunghayan natin yung pang-araw-araw na pagtitinda ni Kuya. Siya ay nagsisimula, si Kuya Danny ay nagsisimula ng 11 a.m. Pero actually 9 a.m. siya ay naghahanda na mula ka lang ba, siya ay naghahanda na nung kanyang ititinda or ipipritong mga manok doon sa kanyang stall sa may junction, doon sa may ito ay doon sa may tapat ng Robinsons sa may junction or tinatawag din na crossing ngayon dito sa LB. Tapos ayun, nabanggit nga ni Kuya na ang kanyang naging puhunan ay nagsisimula sa 5K araw-araw para rin sa mga manok, dun sa ingredients ng manok, and doon sa sauce nito. At yung kanyang benta roon ay 20 pesos bawat parte or kahit anong parte ng manok Tapos doon sa hindi na kasi ito na i-record, pero noong pagkatapos ng interview ay ako ay nanghingi ng pangalan ni Kuya tapos ay ipinakita niya ang kanyang ID ng health card na kinukuha sa munisipyo. Tapos ito pala ay required hindi lang sa mga nagtitinda sa mga nasa establishments kahit yung mga street vendors ay required din pala na kumuha nitong health card na to. Tapos yung health card na yun ay bago ka makakuha ay kailangan muna ng health certificate. Tapos kailangan din siya nung sanitary certificate bago ma-approve at mabigyan nung health card at makapagtinda. So ayun, para sa ating pagtatapos ng ating segment na LB Food Trip. At nakakalungkot na kasabay nito ay matatapos din ang ating program ngayong araw. And ayun, pero bago naman ito matapos, meron tayong last song. I think itong last song na to ay kilalang kilalaan ng mga taga-LB, and ito ay sikat na sikat, at yung lyrics ng kantang ito ay talaga namang mapapasana all tayo So ito na for our last song, and ayun, ako ay mag-goodbye. Muli ako si Nicole Brosas, or ang inyong DJ Nix, ang inyong nag-iisang DJ Nix para sa Kalye LB. So for our last song, ito na ang LB Food Trip by Colaris.
Gusto mo ba lumabas? Pagtapos ng klase mo, tara na't magkwek-kwek, dun sa paboritong tindahan mo. Gusto mo bang magmaikas sa tema, bumili ng tinapay na makrema, tapos magtusok-tusok dun sa tapat, bumili ng fries na maalat at cheese sticks na walang laman. Kahit saan pa tayo pumunta, huwag kang mag-alala at sasamahan kita. Halika na. Sana tumigil na ang orasan para ma-stuck tayo sa walang hanggan. Gusto mo bang mag-jangges para ang baon nati umabot ng Biyernes? O kaya ikaw something dun sa Baker Hall, kundi mo trip mag-chess tayo sa Centro Mall. Tapos mag-yosi tayo sa Raymundo, mag-merienda sa H2 pagtapos mahilo. Tapos maghapulan tayo sa F-Park, story mo sa IG, nang layuan ka ng best friend mong si Mark. Kahit saan pa tayo pumunta, huwag kang mag-alala at sasamahan kita. Halika na. Sana tumigil na ang orasan para ma-stop tayo sa walang hanggan.
Saan mo gusto? Sa Soul Kitchen? Sa Selinas? Sa Cuisines? Sa Big Bellies? Sa We Deliver? Sa 13-7? Sa Stable? Sa Josie Nasal? Or baka gusto mo sa Chaddy's? Sa Batcave? Sa Burgerage? Or sa Meisters? Or baka gusto mo sa The 1975 Food Park? Papus? Tita Del's? Eat Sumo? Chubby Hubby? Drip Coffee? Or sa Square? Gusto mo sa Vega? Or Spice Jar? Or Calaban?
Kahit saan pa tayo pumunta, huwag kang mag-alala at sasamahan kita.